Hello everyone, I'm Josh Garrett, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my trip to Srinagar. We left our home at 2 o'clock p.m. and then we reached the airport at 3 p.m. somewhere around that. After that, we did our regular check-ins, security checks, and then we relaxed at a cafe till the gate opened. Once it was time to board the airplane, we went to the gate, stood in queue for a while, then a bus picked us up from the gate and dropped us off at the airplane. There we boarded the airplane and waited a while for the plane to take off. During the whole plane trip, I was just listening to music to pass the time, and in what seemed like a blink of an eye, the plane landed at Srinagar. After that, we went to our sign belt. There we took our suitcases and everything, and then we went outside to look for our driver. Once we were outside, we looked for the driver, but he was nowhere to be seen. Instead, my father had to call him. Eventually he came and told us a certain place where we had to be. There he would come with his car and pick us up. And so that's what we did. And eventually we went inside his car, and after a 30 to 45 minute ride, we reached our hotel, Nakash Residency. There we just checked in and then went to our rooms. It was at the third floor, and there we had one family room and also one normal room. The family room was looking majestic and very large. Meanwhile, the other room was just very normal. And of course, me and my siblings put dibs on the large family room first. After we relaxed for a while, we went downstairs at 8 o'clock for dinner. There we ate some delicious food. After our tummies were full, we went back upstairs and then rested for the night. That was day one. We woke up early in the morning, and then immediately after waking up, I asked my father where we were going to be going for that day. According to him, we were going to one place, which was a glacier in Sonamarg. After making sure everything was ready for Sonamarg, we went downstairs to eat breakfast. The food was very delicious, although the options were quite limited. Anyway, after we finished breakfast, we went to our car and then we went straight for Sonamarg. After a while, I started to see my first snow, which slowly turned into large landscapes filled with snow. Anyway, after around 2 hours of driving, we finally reached the place where, according to our driver, we had to take mules from that place to the glacier because he won't be able to take us to the glacier himself. After that, we got out of our car, and then immediately people surrounded us asking if we wanted to rent leather boots and rent mules. We had no choice but to agree, although the price seemed a bit too expensive for just mules and leather boots. Anyway, they all mounted us on our mules, and we were given 3 guides to help us go to the glacier. I thought the mule ride was going to be scary or just going to be very hard for me, but I had to say I was immediately proven wrong once the mules started even walking. I had lots of fun, and I don't even know why I had that much fun. Maybe it's because I was just trying out something new. Anyway, I completely enjoyed the 20-minute ride with the mules, and eventually we reached the glacier. After that, we dismounted our mules and then we started immediately playing on the snow. We made snow angels, we threw snow in the air. It was all a lot of fun. And we also started taking lots of pictures. After a while, a person approached us and asked us if we wanted to sledge. Me and my siblings immediately agreed to sledge. First, my brother went, then my cousin sister, and then finally me. It was my first time sledging, and I could say it was very fun. After that sledging shenanigans, we went back to playing with the snow and taking lots of pictures. My favorite was taking a huge pile of snow and throwing it up in the air, making a mini snowfall. We especially love to take slow motion videos of that. After a long time of playing with the snow, the guide approached us and said it was time to go back to the same place. And so that's what we did. We mounted up on our mules, and again I had 20 minutes of great fun. Then eventually we reached the parking lot where the cars were there. There we went back inside our car, and by now all of us were hungry. So we just wanted to go to a restaurant and just eat lunch. But while we were going, we immediately got distracted by a river which was flowing nearby us. And it seemed like a wasted opportunity not taking pictures there. So we just went there and we took lots of pictures. Then we went back inside our car and went to a restaurant. I don't remember what food I got there, but I definitely do remember that I got a hot chocolate and it was very delicious. Anyway, after drinking my hot chocolate and enjoying a delicious lunch, we got back inside our cars and went straight to Nakash Residency, our hotel. There, I just played with my siblings, played some Uno, and then we ate dinner, and then we went immediately back to our beds. Day 3. We woke up early in the morning. This day we were going to Gulmarg on a gondola ride, which I was really looking forward to. Anyway, we all got ready and packed our bags because we are going to, of course, Gulmarg. After that, we ate breakfast and hopped on the car. Then, after a long ride, we finally reached Gulmarg. And on the way to the gondola station, we saw our resort. So we just decided to check in and leave our suitcases there. But the check-in time was actually much later, and so we just left our luggage there and then we went back inside our car to the gondola station. After a short ride, we reached the gondola station, or rather its parking lot, because we actually had to walk to the gondola station. But before we walked to the gondola station, we quickly hired a guide. And after hiring a guide, we started walking to the gondola station. Me and the guide talked really well. I found out lots about the place we were going to, especially the fact that the gondola ride was on Mountain Alphabet, and right next to us was one of the largest gold fields, at least in India. We also talked about different activities like skiing and what I've been doing in Srinagar as well. After a lot of talk and walk, we finally reached the gondola station. Inside, we just gave our documents and then we went inside and saw that there was a long, enormous queue. The guide said that this would approximately take 25 minutes, and so it did. We waited a very long time, and after that we crossed the queue. Then we hopped on our gondolas and went above. It was a really amazing view from the gondola. White snow covered the whole mountain, and although I've been to a cable car before, this was just a different experience, almost like it was something new. And I really enjoyed it. Definitely worth the 25-minute long wait in the queue. And after that, we reached phase 1 of the gondola station. Once we reached there, we quickly asked around about the activities that we could do there. And it seems like that there were only 2 activities we could do, which was skiing and sledging. Sadly, we couldn't do snow biking there because there wasn't much snow. So, since we already did sledging the day before, we decided we'll do skiing. And after that, there was a 15-minute walk to get to that skiing place, where they'll basically teach you the basics of skiing and then put you up in the accessories needed to go skiing. Our guide was really helpful. In the 15-minute walk, there were sometimes some uncertain places where it was quite slippery, muddy, or anything like that, and he helped us around, held our hands and everything like that. And after walking that whole 15 minutes, we finally reached that place. There, they gave us the skiing sticks and they strapped us with some boots and that long ski boards. After that, we were ready. They told us the basic things to know about skiing. It was really simple. Everything could be explained in one sentence. You need to bend your knees to maintain balance. And then second, just to propel yourself, use the sticks, do this, and then keep them above in the air. That's all. And then the slope will take you further and further, accelerating you. We did not learn how to deaccelerate, stop, turn, or anything like that because there were people who will help us do all that. So we just did the skiing. I personally really enjoyed it, and I went for multiple rounds. I even asked the guide how I will stop and turn, and even though he told me and I tried, I couldn't get the hang of it. So I just left it at that and stopped skiing. By now, all of us were very tired. So we just went and got some Maggie and some hot chocolate which they were selling there. Although it wasn't enough to fill our hunger, it was satisfactory. After that, we went to the 15-minute walk back to the phase 1 gondola station, and then we took a gondola ride back to the normal gondola station. There we walked all the way back to the parking lot. I have to say, as I said, the guide was absolutely awesome. Previously, all the guides or all the people we had to get using money, they would rather just look for money rather than actually trying to help us. But this guide, he was awesome. His name was Javed, and he helped us all the way through. He held our hands, as I said, in the risky parts. He talked to us a lot, and he was worth a lot more than the money we gave him. But anyway, after saying goodbyes to him and taking a photo, we went to our car only to find out that the driver had actually left us. But before my father could resolve all that, we were all very hungry, so we found a nearby dhawa and ate the food. Although it wasn't the best and was actually not that good, it was just enough to fill our hunger. And so we went back into the car. Somebody had arranged a new driver for us, so we rode back to our hotel, Apple Trees. After that, the whole rest of the day was just spent relaxing and playing games with my family members. After that, we slept for the day, and that was the end of day 3. We woke up in the morning, and for that day, the main activities were valleys in Falgum. So again, we all got ready, ate breakfast, which was again really delicious, and then we hopped on a car where a new driver was arranged for us, and we went towards Falgum. This time it was all, as I said, valleys. I wasn't really excited for them because I had seen something way cooler, like glaciers, like the gondola ride. So this seemed pretty bland for the day. But who knows, maybe it was actually good. After a long ride, we finally reached the first destination, which was mini Switzerland. And this time, the people there said that we have to ride on horses. The driver had warned us that we should not take the shortcut. We have to tell them to take a long road which will lead us to mini Switzerland and not take the shortcut, because shortcut was risky. But instead of just listening to him, we didn't do it, which soon turned out to be a bad mistake. Once we started on the horse ride, we could clearly see what he meant. It was completely scary, and the route was very steep, as if it can only be done by trekking, and the horses itself struggled a lot. Sometimes we reached places where the horse was just one step away from falling to its demise. So it was all just very scary, and I completely did not like that experience at all. The reason I liked the mule ride was because it had a fun of the fear of trying out something new, and then also the joy you get from trying out something new. But this one, the fear completely ruled out the joy I would have probably gotten if I was riding on a normal, better path. But finally, we reached mini Switzerland. Before that, there were certain points they said but it wasn't really worth noting what they were. Anyway, when we reached mini Switzerland, I was expecting something that looked like the glacier in Sonmark. I was expecting something to look even more glorious than that, as they called it mini Switzerland. But we were met with plain ground filled with brown grass, no snow at all, and there were just some snow white mountains in the background. I mean, it was good, but after visiting Sonmark, this doesn't seem like something very worth our time. So we just ate something there, took some pictures, and then we immediately went back on our horses to go back. When coming down, the horse ride was still very scary. We finally reached the parking lot after what seemed to be eternities of fear. And then after that, we decided to eat somewhere. And then we were hoping to go to ABC Valley, but since there was almost no time and we were absolutely frightened after the horse ride experience, we decided not to go there and just rest at our hotel. So the driver brought us to our hotel, Golden Residency. There we just relaxed at our rooms. After a while it was dinner time. We ate dinner and we went to sleep. But actually we didn't really sleep because all the three of the kids were vomiting, including me. All of us suspected it might be food poisoning, but even now we don't really know what it might have been. But it did really seem like food poisoning. Anyway, after that huge amount of suffering, around 10 a.m. on the next day, we were feeling quite a lot better, enough to go traveling. So instead of doing the ABC Valleys that day, we decided to skip it and go straight to our last destination, which was Srinagar, the houseboat. We rode on a car till that place. We also stopped at a small place to get tea, by the way, and then we reached the Srinagar houseboat, gate number 14, I'm pretty sure. There, a shikara will take us from that place to our houseboat. I was expecting a lot from this houseboat, since we weren't going to do anything else and I had just suffered a long night the previous day. I was feeling like this was going to be the best rest I would have probably gotten, sleeping right next to the waters. So I excitedly got onto the shikara. While we were on the shikara ride, surprisingly, where I thought that there would be no salesmen trying to sell us stuff, there were people swarming us with boats, asking if we wanted tea, keva, or like we wanted fruits and everything else like that. So it wasn't really a calm shikara ride, but we did have our moments of calmness there and then. There we also took some pictures, and I have to say that place felt just like a mini Venice, filled with water, and there were actually some shops which we could have went and bought at, but we didn't buy anything there. We quickly went to the houseboat so that we can rest. First thing I noticed about the houseboat was that it was very, very cold. And in just like 5 minutes, I couldn't feel my feet anymore. Even after going inside the blankets and all that, it was still really, really cold. It was probably even colder than Sonmark, which was, I think, around -degrees something. The people also refused to put on the heater until after dinner, so it was a really boring and cold evening. So we just had to somehow spend the day. My mother found some warmers and everyone took some warmers. It made us feel better, but of course it didn't fully cure the cold. And we somehow passed the time to dinner. There we ate some dinner and finally they switched on the heater. And it didn't actually make a difference, to be honest with you. It just sort of was there. But we switched on our electrical blankets and that did help. So we had really good sleep with the electrical blankets. And after that we woke up to gripping cold and huge amounts of fog right outside the houseboat. But we went and changed, got ready, and also ate some breakfast. After that, it was finally time to leave the houseboat. You should have seen the joy I was having just leaving the houseboat. After we left the houseboat, we went on a shikara back to the gate so that we could go on a car. And there we got in, and it didn't give us the warmth we were expecting, but it did keep our feet somewhat warm. But then after a while we reached a garden. This was sort of like our first stop for the day, and there we just walked around, but it was too cold for all of us to bear, especially after last night. So we just went back inside our car, and then we went to some shops. We also went to some bakery, Moonlight Bakery. There we got some walnut pie and walnut sweets, and when I tasted it, it was absolutely delicious. Definitely worth it. After all that, we went to the airport, and then we went to Chandigarh. Or so we thought, because Fate didn't have his last laugh yet, and the flight got rerouted to Delhi. And so we had to somehow resolve that, book a cab to go back to Chandigarh, etc. etc. But that whole thing was a story for another day. So this is the end of my Srinagar trip. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Bye.